everybody. Welcome to the EBFRD podcast. Today, our special guest is Kenny W. Irish. I think I said it right. Now, we are going to call him right now on Messenger. I hope you can hear him. Hello, Kenny.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
Nice meeting you.
So, I was told by Ken Gerhard that you have a new book that's coming out.
Yes. Yeah. Had one come out back in March. And having one coming out September, October of this year.
All right. So, question: do you have any Bigfoot stories?
As far as personal experiences, as in me witnessing one, or ones that I've heard.
Well, I would be fine with either.
Okay. Well, I'll start out by saying I'm not one of the lucky ones. I have yet to actually lay eyes on watch, but I've spoken with many folks that have claimed to have seen one, and so I've got, definitely a lot of different encounters that have been told to me from different people.
Oh, okay. So, and if you were to watch the podcast, you're gonna hear yourself sort of breaking up because I was told you live in New York or something.
Yes.
All right, because I'm all the way in Michigan, so.
Okay. Is it am I breaking up when I talk?
Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
Okay.
So.
Is there another way we can possibly do this, or?
Let me see. All right, now try real quick.
Is that better?
Yeah. Nope, it's still breaking up. Oh, of course.
Still breaking up. All right.
Yeah. So you're just sort of gonna hear yourself breaking up. Sorry about that.
Okay. Hey, it's all right. These things happen.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe tell a story of that you heard or someone's told you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
One of the ones that I like to tell, it's actually the last one that is in the book that I March. It was a cattle rancher who, in the middle of the night, or early morning hours, it was still dark, heard his cattle acting up. And so he went out to see what was going on, expecting to see some type of coyote or some type of animal that was growling all his cattle. So he ended up shining his flashlight out into an area where none of the cattle were, because they were all kind of huddled up in one area. And when he shone his flashlight out there, he saw this tall figure, 7 to 8 feet tall, standing there. And he actually had his rifle with him because he thought he might come across some type of wild animal.
Like a bear or...
Yeah, something that he might have to put down, to protect his cattle.
All right.
So he did end up taking a shot at it, and what he did see was the figure turn around and run off and disappear into the night. When the sun came up, he went back out there and looked for blood, some type of possible evidence of what he saw, and he couldn't find blood anywhere. He wasn't totally sure if he had hit it or not. He was out there looking for footprints, some type of evidence. Ever since then, he's been kind of nervous on his own property. So that really stuck with me, that in particular story, for the simple fact that cattle ranchers, those are tough guys. They don't scare very easily. So the fact that actually shook him up really moved me.
Oh, okay. You know, I myself actually have a Bigfoot story.
Okay.
All right, so let's see. It started out one day after I saw finding Bigfoot and stuff. It was I remember the exact date, August 12th, 2019, I think it was, or 18, one of those two. I don't remember the exact year, but I think it was one. It was one of them. And I was in the woods looking for him, of course, because I wanted to see if he was in the woods where my grandpa hunted. And it was about 10 minutes into looking for him and screaming and all that stuff in the woods. Oh, I wasn't really good at doing it yet, so I was just talking to my grandpa and stuff. And I was behind my grandpa. He was in front with his pistol. He was just walking straight on the path. I was behind him, as I said. And I heard this rustling noise. Sorry about that. So, anyway, as I was saying, I heard rustling in the woods, and I also heard, something like that. And, well, so after I heard the, hey, I told my grandpa, and he's like, it was probably just a bear growling or something, so he turned around. He turned his pistol and he shot in where the rustling was. And then I heard something run away, and I got a glimpse of this big hairy figure running away. A tiny little glimpse, okay? So then I'm like, yeah, let's leave. That's what I told my grandpa. So we were walking back to the truck, and I heard another rustle, so I'm like, okay, what was that? I looked, and it was just a rabbit, okay? And then I started taking a bunch of pictures before I left, so I wouldn't forget about that. And when I went home, I told my grandma and stuff, and I looked on my phone, and in the background of my picture, there was this big, hairy figure up in a tree. It looked like, at least. It was a blurry, foggy photo, because it was in the background of the picture. So, can they even climb trees?
And you said that was recent?
No, it was a couple years ago.
In the last couple of years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but then I started getting into Bigfoot. My dad bought me some tickets on my birthday for a Bigfoot conference the year after. And in 2019, I met Cliff Berkman and Dr. Jeffrey. I don't remember his last name, but
Meldrum?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, him.
Okay.
Yeah, and after that I decided, you know what? I think I'm gonna create my own Bigfoot thing. So I was in the shower thinking, of course, and I came up with BFRD, Bigfoot Research Department. But then I'm like, that's a little too short, so I put Escanaba in front of it first, because that's where I live and stuff.
And when did you start that?
Let's see. I started it around June 20th, 2019, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe it was after that. I think it was June 2019, though. So
what have you been doing after you started it?
Well, I have on the YouTube channel that this podcast is on right now. I did 2 expeditions. One of them I did when I was on vacation, and I did not know how to do Bigfooting at all, so I looked into the woods, and we were in a zoo, so I had no clue what to do. But then after I thought of it, I figured it out and stuff. In 2020, I went back in the woods with my grandpa, and we made a whole thing on it. And my brother found some sort of print in the ground, and it looked like a footprint, but my grandpa said it was probably just some skid marks from his cousin driving around. And so then we just left. We didn't hear anything that time, though.
Okay. How did you you came across Ken? You said at a conference.
Yeah, conference. It was Saturday, I think, last Saturday. It was last Saturday. It was August 14th. That one. Yeah, it was in St. Ignace. I traveled all the way to St. Ignace to meet them. And first I saw Charlie, and then I saw Ken. So Charlie was busy, so I went over to Ken and started talking to him and stuff. Then I went over to Charlie, started talking to him, and he did an interview for his channel, which he hasn't uploaded the video yet. But then I gave a speech, and I tried to upload the speech to YouTube, and it failed. So I didn't get the speech on YouTube.
Well, did anybody get any of it on video for you?
I have no clue. I haven't seen anything of it yet, but I hope somebody did.
Well, what was your speech based on? I know it was based on Bigfoot, but what was the
it was called,
I guess the direction?
Well, I mean, if you'd like me to give like a little demonstration of what the speech was like, because nobody on my channel has ever saw it yet, so I still want them to know. If you want me to do that. It's called Bigfoot Man or Beast. I introduced myself, of course, and I started explaining. Like, I said, Bigfoot Man or Beast, all that stuff, and I went through through man and through beast. Then at the end, I forgot to ask this. I was trying to ask throughout the presentation, in the middle of the presentation. Okay, raise your hand if you think he's a man, and raise your hand if you think he's a beast. But I messed that up, so I didn't get that part. But then at the end I said he's a man beast, like that. He's a man and he's a beast.
Okay. All right. And how long was your presentation?
If I messed up on 5 minutes worth of it. It was supposed to be 8 minutes long, but instead it was 3 minutes.
It's all right. It's all right. Was it your first presentation?
Yeah, first time speaking about Bigfoot, and a speech I wrote all myself without a script and by heart and all that stuff. I mean, I did one before with in front of more people. I didn't mess it up because I was nervous. I just messed it up because I messed it up. Forgot about it.
Sure. Well, we've all done that, so.
Yeah. So, where can I get this book of yours? I might want to buy it and read it.
Yeah, certainly. Well, the book American Cryptids in Pursuit of the Elusive Creatures that released back in March.
Yeah.
Through Beyond the Fray Publishing. You can go jump right on Amazon and get it.
Oh, cool.
That's usually the quickest and easiest way to get it. Also, I've got a young reader's chapter book for ages 6 to 11 called Stanley Riker and the Bigfoot Runaround, which you can also get.
I'm 13, so.
Yeah. So you can literally just go into the search bar on Amazon and type in Kenny W. Irish, and my books will come up.
All right. So how many books have you written about Bigfoot, mostly?
Well, see, American Cryptids isn't all about Bigfoot.
Yeah, like Loch Ness Monster and stuff like that.
I mentioned the Loch Ness Monster, but it's American Cryptids, and Loch Ness isn't in the U.S. But I do mention the Loch Ness Monster because one of the chapters for Vermont, I talk about Champ, the Lake Champlain monster, who's in Lake Champlain. So I do mention the Loch Ness Monster, but I also mention Mothman and all the popular cryptids, as well as some that I've come across that some folks have never heard of, and some that I hadn't heard of until I started researching for the book. But I do close out every chapter with a recorded Bigfoot sighting from each state. There's definitely a lot of Bigfoot talk in the book, as well as a Bigfoot encounter at the end of each chapter.
Oh, okay. That sounds cool. So,
Yeah.
I have this book. It's called the Bigfoot Case Book. Have you ever read that?
I have heard of it. I have not personally read it.
It's by, okay, so it's by Janet and Colin Board.
Uh-huh.
Alright. So, I mean, like, how many, like, out of, all the books you've, written, which one was your favorite?
Out of all the ones I've written, it would definitely be American Cryptids.
Alright.
It was a lot of fun. But the young readers chapter books are a lot of fun as well because, like for instance, when you write a book like American Cryptid, it's a nonfiction, meaning it's a lot of fact checking, history of states and different dates. But the fun thing about fiction, you can kind of make it up as you go and come up with like a great storyline and a plot and a direction. And you can just kind of use your imagination with it. So I guess it's kind of hard to say because they're two totally different styles and different books. So I definitely writing American Cryptids was me pretty much downloading everything I've learned, all the research I've done over the years down on paper. So it was nice to kind of get that out and out of my head, get it down. But then again, it's a lot of fun to just kind of lose your mind in the mystery of fiction, where again you can kind of make it up as you go and have fun with it.
All right. So, how long exactly do I have you until like 6:15 or so?
Yeah, another right around 15 minutes. Yep.
All right. Okay. So, I would like to tell another counter I find interesting. It's not another counter I have, but I find it an interesting encounter. It was. Have you ever watched Finding Bigfoot?
Yes.
All right. One of the episodes, this guy called the Turtle Man. And
yeah, I know Turtle Man. Yep.
Wait, do you actually know him or do you see him?
I've seen him. Yeah, I've never actually.
Oh, okay. Well, his encounter happened when he was 7, 8, or 11. I think one of those, somewhere in that area. He was squirrel hunting and he heard this thing, this roar, and he turned around and shot where he thought it was. Then he decided. Then he said, "I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna shoot you," and stuff like that. And he shot him, and he shot the Bigfoot, and the Bigfoot ran away or something, I think. And it scared him out of the woods. So.
Yeah, I actually remember that episode because Turtle Man stuff. I'm a big fan of Turtle Man, without a doubt.
Oh, okay. Have you ever met Cliff Barrickman in person?
No, I was supposed to back in May because I was speaking and appearing at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Festival in Tennessee, but my plane, my flight got canceled, and they couldn't get me on one in time, so I had to cancel. But he does sell my books at the museum, and in November I'm going to be in Lexington, Kentucky at CryptidCon.
All right.
I'll be appearing there and speaking there and Cliff will be there, Bobo will be there, Renee, Matt, the guys from the show. Yeah, the guys from the show Mountain Monsters are going to be there. So yeah, it'll be a good time.
Oh, okay. I mean, if you ever meet him in person, I gotta say he's a really nice guy. He listened to every single thing I said because I talked way too much. He listened to every single thing I said, and I also told him the story I told you at the around the beginning when I told you my story.
Yep.
And if it weren't for that encounter, I would have never got into Bigfooting, I gotta say.
Yeah.
But Cliff, Charlie, when I met Charlie Raymond, he told me that when last time he talked to Cliff talked about me to him. So I mean, I call it me and Cliff like acquaintances or so. But I mean,
Yeah, sure.
Ken and Charlie we're friends. I don't have very many Bigfooting friends, so all I have is Charlie, Ken, Rich Meyer. Have you ever met Rich Meyer?
I have not. No, not yet.
All right. Well, he gave me the opportunity to speak. He also gave me plaster and all that stuff. I mean, he helped me get my Bigfooting career to start. I mean, it's not really a career. It's more of a hobby. He helped me get into it. So I'd like to thank him for that. Also, in October, I'm gonna have a podcast with him. These podcasts appear every Tuesday around 7 p.m. That's when they always appear. So at 7 p.m. you're gonna see it's gonna premiere at 7 p.m. So it's gonna appear on the channel I sent you, right? I sent you the link, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, you sent it.
So yeah, I mean I find Bigfooting pretty interesting. My friends do not think he's real. My brother doesn't think he's real. Like my grandpa does. So, I mean, it's nice. I mean,
Well, and it's okay to be around, people who don't necessarily believe, and it's okay to be a little skeptical too, when somebody tells you certain things. So, it's definitely, don't feel like, because somebody doesn't necessarily believe or understand that it's necessarily a bad thing.
Okay. So, I'm hoping this podcast reaches to where I want it to reach, to the full 30 minutes. So, would you like to tell another Bigfoot story? Perhaps.
Yeah. I'll actually tell one of the group that I'm with. It's called the New York Bigfoot Society. And
Okay.
the founder of the group, his name is Gary Robusto. And back in January, he was out hiking. He was about 3 to 4 miles into the woods out here in the area of Whitehall, New York. And he kind of looked up in a certain direction. He kind of felt like something, I guess, was looking in his direction. And he has an education in animal background. Excuse me. His background is in animal behavior education. And he looked up and saw what he believed to be the Sasquatch looking back at him. Now, Gary knows the difference between a bear, and he can usually debunk something pretty quick. But he wasn't able to debunk this. And what he saw, it turned around and it walked off. It was way up on a cliff. It was far enough away where he wasn't able to get over to it. But he took a picture. You can actually see that there is something there. It was with his phone. Of course, it didn't come out a lot of detail. But he took a picture immediately after to also show that what was originally there wasn't there anymore. So that was, I'd have to say, probably one of the most recent ones coming from somebody who's very credible when it comes to this subject and knows what he's looking at, knows what is what when he's in the woods. So the fact that he believes he actually saw one, it kind of takes an encounter to the next level in my mind.
All right. That's a pretty cool story, I gotta say.
Yeah, I was at work when he reached out to me, and it was in the middle of the day. It was daylight, and he sent me a message saying, "I swear I just saw Bigfoot," and I knew that he had seen what he thought he saw, because that's not something that just easily come out of Gary's mouth.
Okay. So have you ever been on a night investigation?
What's that?
Have you ever been on a night investigation?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. When we go out, we usually go out in the late evening, like 6, 7 o'clock,
And when do you get done?
and we're usually out till about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So,
Nice.
yeah, we've done many at night, and it's amazing just to be in the woods at night, walking around with flashlights. That in itself is just a lot of fun.
All right. Well, one cool thing that I find nice about the place I moved to. I just moved into my house about 3 weeks ago, and after the conference in St. Ignace, my friend Rich Meyer, I told you about, he pulled up a Bigfoot report throughout the UP, and just 2 blocks in the woods behind my house, there was a BFRO investigation there, and they found Bigfoot there. Or at least found signs of him. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to go out there with my grandpa, so I can film an episode out there. It'd probably just be me, and I probably have to invite someone else to go out there, because my grandpa's gonna be behind the camera and stuff. So it'd just be me, or it's gonna be me with a couple other people.
Yeah, and I highly recommend that. Well, make sure that when you go out, that you're going out with somebody that knows the woods and understands, the safety aspects of it. Because it can become very dangerous, out of nowhere. The weather can change. There's many different things that could happen. So definitely make sure that, when you go out, you don't go out alone, and that you go out with folks that know what they're doing. That's one of the reasons I joined the group that I'm with right now, the New York Bigfoot Society. Gary's an outdoorsman. He's a hiker. He's a survivalist. So I've been able to learn a lot from that. So definitely make sure that, the people that you go out with know their stuff and know their way around the woods. And if they get lost, they know how to survive and what they need to do until rescue comes.
All right. So what I meant by what I said, it'd just be me in the video. My grandpa would be filming it, and he knows the woods, and he has he bring a pistol and stuff like he did that one time. Also, I'd probably want someone else that knows the woods to be in my video too, because it'd be kind of boring if it's just me talking in the video. I'd probably ask Rich.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, you can get really creative with what you do and make it really, really interesting.
Yeah, if I ever actually get a hold of Cliff on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, or somebody that would actually do it with me, I'd ask them if they could come to Escanaba to help me find this. And it's also by an airport.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, the longer you're into this and you're researching, you're going to come across all kinds of people. You're going to make all kinds of friends and all kinds of connections and people that can definitely help you in different directions and help guide you, as well as show you definitely show you the ropes and what they've learned over the years.
Okay. I would like to consider you a friend, but. Yeah.
We're friends, absolutely.
Yeah, we just met yesterday, so.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
Yes. So, we only have about a minute left on the podcast as of right now. So, out of a 5-star, a 1 out of 10 for the podcast that I'm making. What do you think you would give it as of right now?
Well, let's you're new to it. Let's roll with the 10 and try to keep it up. Try to keep it up at the level of a 10.
All right.
Aim high, my friend.
All right. So I'd like to recap this podcast as of right now. We talked about Bigfoot. We talked about Bigfooting stories. We talked about your books, And yeah, so everybody that's watching the podcast, thank you for watching, and goodbye.